Are there places on the planet that you have no desire to go, that you actually have an aversion to? I suggest it is because you've experienced a past life in that place, and that past life still haunts you in a way. Today, I want to talk to you about soul retrieval to a place of aversion. I hope you enjoy our time together.
Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
It is my experience, both in the personal work that I do in my own meditation time and in my own travels, as well as healing work that I've done on others, that I've uncovered the fact that there are places on the planet some people have unfinished business at. And therefore, sometimes when it's something that needs to be reconciled, there's a bit of a haunting that takes place. Like you just don't want to go back there. It was not a fun lifetime. It was really sticky. It was really, maybe you were not such a good guy. Maybe things happened to you that were not pleasant. And it's just this part of you that's like, I have no desire to go there. Or when you go to those places and you're in those places, you're just so discombobulated. You are crying, perhaps you get sick. These are little signs to explore what's really happening as you traverse the planet. I live in New England, which kind of cracks me up. When I was like, I don't know, was I 14, 15, 16? We in my family got the opportunity to get new bedroom sets. And I picked out this look of a bedroom set that was New England. My mother rolled her eyes. She was not a fan. But it was like colonial period, right? And I was just like, I loved it mostly because the bedposts had these knobs, and out recently was bed knobs and broomsticks. And so I was like, listen, if I could just get this bed to fly, I I could I could really have fun with this. So I think it was a little bit more of that because as soon as I saw the bed, I was like, I've got to have that bed. But it was really funny then that I would end up in New England to live more than half my life already. And one of the things I've noticed here is that I cannot wear scarves on the island that I live that's in the middle of the ocean. I can sometimes get away with a necklace, but I cannot wear anything close to my throat. No turtlenecks, nothing high up on my neck. It's really uncomfortable. I can easily wear prayer beads around my neck, and that's fine because they hang low and more so over my heart or my solar plexus. But oh my gosh, I just cannot wear scarves out here. Now, in the middle of the country, once I go west of the Mississippi, I can. And that is really interesting, right? So I had this attraction to New England, but while here I'm noticing that there's certain things that I cannot wear. And so when I take time to go into a meditative state and just kind of or exploring it in a thought exercise of writing out what's coming up for me, I know that I was hung because it was the sense of having a lifetime where I was a person of power and it wasn't recognized. It was actually feared. And so I was hung in that lifetime. People did that to silence me because I was a revolutionary. And so it's interesting. I feel like, part of my work in this life is also social change and uplifting consciousness and getting people aligned with higher conscious living. So it wasn't an aversion to live in New England, but there are times I believe that you should recognize certain kinds of clothes you can and cannot wear. Like, I can't always wear a lot of bracelets or anklets. I love the idea of them on the Eastern seaboard. I think they look cool. And even when I was younger, I could wear rings, like on my toes even, but not ankle bracelets. And I know that was tied to chains, a lifetime of living in chains. I know I've had many lifetimes of all skin colors. And I know that there's this propensity towards going where I've gone before to kind of rectify my soul, to get back in alignment to my truth, and to feel like, okay, I'm called to this land. I can walk this sacred land. I am safe in my world. Everything is fine. But I really think that sometimes when we have this interesting aversion or these interesting senses that come up, like, why can't I wear ankle bracelets? What's that about? And we let the story unfold as in a thought exercise, like just close our eyes and go, all right, I'm picturing the ankle bracelets. And then all of a sudden they turn to chains. And then I turn to a chain gang building the Great Railway, across the US and all this stuff. And so it becomes this exploration of how can I imagine releasing these chains that hold me back, that have kept me tied to a place of whether it's subservient service. And then I look at, where does subservient service show up in my life? Oh, right. I'm a mother, a wife, a teacher, a healer. And so sometimes I put my needs last, and I am, personal sacrifice for a greater good. And it's not my best, it's not for my highest good. And so I have to recognize, when do I serve and when do I overserve, or when do I enable and when do I help so much that I don't allow other people to claim their own power. These are the kind of things I encourage you to question. So when I contemplate Salem, Massachusetts, when I was in, I don't know, was it fifth grade, Catholic school, we did a session on the Salem witch trials, I think. And I was really intrigued by that. I was intrigued by watching movies about it and everything. And I was like, whoa, this is so wild. But it felt to me that they were, tapped in. Some were tapped in and some weren't. And it was just this really interesting energy around esoteric studies. And when I think of Salem, I'm so close. Like, I could go to Salem, right? But you know what? No desire. No desire. And when I tap into that, I'm like, is this an aversion? Like, do you not want to go there for a reason? Do you think you were burned at the stake or whatever? No. It's a been there, done that experience. So, there might be places where you're really not called to because you've lived life there and it was sorted when you were doing it. Everything's fine. No worries. You're still not carrying around the chains or whatever it is. You just, no, don't need to go back into that energy. I know that many of us have done countless lifetimes in countless incarnations in regards to work as service or work as seekers. You're listening to this because you are probably a seeker. And you've probably done the lifetime of monastic life or various religions as a seeker. Like, let me go back and try this religion, or let me go back and try that religion, or let me go back and try that religion. Because, seekers, that's what we do, is we source truth in all the places that we can find it, really. And so sometimes I think that when we think of places like, oh, I really should go, for me, it was like, golly, I really should go to Salem. Everybody goes to Salem. And I'm like, when I finally sat with that, I was like, no, been there, done that. I'm all set there. But I definitely know if you're called to a place like that, a place where there was a real uprush of especially psychic unfolding or, those kind of studies, if you're called there, you should go. Now, I'm afraid to go to India because I think I would never come back. I like the Indian people, the language, the sing-song in their voice. I love the clothes. I don't know how I feel about the food, but I am like, oh my God, I just think I was a really happy Indian when I was over there. And I'm nervous to go back because I don't think I would want to come back to my life. And I would get caught up in that, that Hinduism and that connectivity and the, I know I was like a whirling dervish. I know I've, a Sikh. I've done all these lifetimes. And in those spaces, I was really happy. I know I was a monk on a mountaintop, a cloistered nun. And usually with my spiritual quests where I devote a life of, just immersion in spirit, I've been ecstatically happy. I dive right in, right? And so some of those places, I don't really feel a calling to go back to, even though it might be cool to meditate in those spaces, whether physically, right? Or in my meditation time. You'll know what's right for you or what works for you, because you can certainly go to these places in your mind. Like right now, I can hear Indian music. my mind. It's just so lovely. Hey, as you follow my teachings, I've created this journal to be your companion. Your 11 Soul Senses is a journal for self discovery. It's an invitation to deepen your connection to yourself and the world around you and others. This is a good thing. Your soul senses are experienced through your higher conscious awareness. Through them, you perceive the spiritual aspects of your environment, the energy patterns, vibrations, soul level experiences, and underlying feelings. I'm laughing because I'm reading a script and it's going a little slow for me. Fully tuning into your world in this way, you increase your awareness and you begin to live your unlimited potential. These are my words, but I had to write them down to remember them. This journal is for you to document your quest for self-discovery. This is a good idea. Definitions are in there to help you understand how you are perceiving through your soul senses. Don't forget, I'm all about contemporary language. Prompts and quotes that we've added guide and encourage you. The empty pages are there for extraordinary exploration as you connect with your own higher states of awareness. I think I moved my eyeballs away from looking at the camera. But listen, to get yours, I want you, I invite you, I'm encouraging you to head to constancemessmer.com and check out my shop. Listen, I did it for you. All this I do for you. You know that. I believe in you. You got this. Thanks for tuning in. I think that part of our journey is to recognize that if we align to the fact that we've had multiple lifetimes, that there might be some that really fill your soul still, that you carry with you as a knowing in this life. But there are also some lifetimes that there is unfinished business. And that's when a soul retrieval kind of experience is important. I think at one point I told you, like, I have no desire to go to places where there's volcanoes or, even sometimes like the Maya temples that were created like pyramids. I just know there were so many times that I was the sacrificial virgin in that space, or I sacrificed my life as a man for a greater good, or as just punishment, took my own life because I feel I failed my people. And I just was like consumed by, if I give up my life, they will be restored to, wholeness. Never the truth. It's never the case, really. Those were grandiose in those incarnations. And so there's a part of me that's like, oh, you got to go to those places, like places that haunt you. So for me, it's places with volcanoes like Vesuvius. I've told you this. Probably places in Hawaii. I'm really drawn to the Hawaiian people, but I would actually, if I ever did a physical trip there, I would go to the places that I don't want to go, because that's where I would go and I should go. And while in those spaces, I would notice what comes up for me. I would notice, like, if things aren't working, sometimes in these spaces, you check into a hotel or an accommodation and, things aren't working or the trip gets foiled, and you just have to learn to go with the flow, like roll with the Tao, allow your soul to guide you, and take the time, though, to sit in meditation daily to go, what's coming up for me? So again, you can do this from your own armchair. You can think of a place of aversion, a place that you don't want to go, a real aversion, like I have no desire to go there because. If you have any of these, like, oh, when I think of that place, scares me, freaks me out, turns my stomach, close your eyes if you go there in your meditation time. Imagine yourself there, smell the smells, allow your imagination to carry you, see the sights, feel the feelings, the temperature, the air quality. Is it cold or hot? What are the noises around you? What do the people look like? And just feel like, what is my general feeling? What's the emotional content about this place? And you can, of course, do this in the physical if you go there physically and you're just like, all right, I'm going to just tune into the energy of this place with the intention of linking to any past life experience that I've had here, that I need to kind of reconcile parts of my soul because there was a disrupt and a disconnect, because it was a harsh environment for me, or because I was not really a good person, or I was full of ego, or I didn't do the greatest good, all of these things. And so allow yourself to kind of follow the breadcrumb trail as a thought exercise to ask the deeper question. Who was I when I was here in a past life? What did I do for work? And the answers, allow them to bubble up. Allow it to be the first awareness that comes to you. Allow you to just roll with it. You're going to feel the vibration of truth and a connected pull in your being to the truth of the scenario. And then be okay with initially, going, okay, did I make this up? And you might hear a yes. You ask that question, you hold it up to the light and say, am I making this up? And Spirit sometimes says, what difference does it make? You're going to get to the same end result. What bothers me about this place? What was my task at hand? What did I come to do in that lifetime? What was my greatest lesson of learning? What did I come to do? What did I accomplish? What did I miss? What did I not accomplish? And then you can also say, if I brought harm, who did I bring harm to? And do I know them in this life? Right? And then also ask, where does the energy of this incarnation still bleed through into this lifetime now? What chakra is being adversely affected by this disconnect? What chakra has this mortal wound from a prior incarnation that has been a real rub in this life? Where's my Achilles heel, if you will, right? Where am I holding myself back or being held back from this prior experience? I always like to ask, what does my soul want me to know? What is for my highest good to know? I always put that question in there in one of my meditative experiences, whether physically in the space that I'm exploring or when I'm in a meditative state, exploring a space at a distance. We travel in our mind and our soul. When we look at these past lives, we can ask, was there someone in that life that came with me into this lifetime? Or did I follow them? And then sometimes it's do I owe anyone an apology? Do you remember the lifetime I told you where I don't even think I said the words. I wasn't like this really crazy being that caused a lot of harm to a lot of people. And I had to apologize in my soul mind to all of them. And when I released that and recognized that, I was able to step more greatly into my power of light, because I was carrying all this darkness in my midsection, and it was in my solar plexus, which is personal power, self-esteem, who you are and what you came to do. So sometimes when we go to these other places in our mind or physically, when we recognize the aversion now, but we repair the experience of the past or our wrongs of the past, I've seen relationships heal when people, apologize in a soulful way to the people that they were in the past. This whole thing about past lives and karma and Akashic records and soul contracts and all this stuff. I'm going to spend a good, healthy amount of time on this subject. There is just a lot to share. You know what else I love doing when I physically or mentally travel to places where I have an aversion with, where I know I need to offer healing, is I love to imagine holding the energy of that town, city, state, country, continent, whatever. I imagine holding it between my hands, sending it healing light, and holding it up near my heart chakra, near my heart, to offer forgiveness and love, and just beaming it with love and beaming it with love and just holding it in the light for raised awareness. Because sadly, when we cause trouble, it has a ripple effect, not to just the people that we do those shameful things to, but the people around them and how they live their life and how they influence others. It's all askew because of our unruly deeds. And so I always want to hold those places and those people in a vibrational state of love and offer kind of restitution or rectifying the imbalance. Conversely, or differently, when we do good, of course, that ripples out too. And we bring light to the earth and the planet and the people. And that ripples out in their continents and in their life and to the people they interact with and how they go about their day and how they go about their world. So I just want to remind you, we can either, bring the good or the not good. And so sometimes when we have these places where we've been before and we were part of the not good, or we were hurt, or we were the hurters, it is my awareness, truth, knowing that we can still kind of rectify and sort that past in a better way. And so part of that is not just a soul retrieval of our own, like finding this kind of shattered bit of ourself that needs wholeness and healing, but it's also allowing healing out. Because sometimes when I go into these incarnations, I was wronged. And so as you do your thought exercise, and if that comes up that you were wronged, being chained as a human is wrong. And so I was wronged. And so I had to shine light on the people that believed that was okay. Even back then, I do it to them back then, to where they are, so that their consciousness can be raised, especially if they're still carrying that forward into this incarnation, that they have a right to do such injustice, right? What you do matters, and what you do in lifetimes matters, and it has a ripple effect. We are very powerful spiritual beings. So I really, really, really want to tell you this. When you are courageous enough to go into what scares you, into those places that you have an adverse reaction to, that you don't want to go, I encourage you to wrap yourself in light, just with the intention. I ask to be divinely guided and inspired as I work to retrieve a piece of my soul and understand more about myself in the world and what happened in that lifetime. And you can ask that you are guided to know the questions to ask, to be open to the answers, to be curious, so that things can come to resolution, wholeness, and healing.
Hey, Constance Messmer here. I just want to do a shout out of big thanks to all the members. I am so grateful. And all the people dropping in and giving little donations here and there and super thanks and all that stuff. I really appreciate you. You members and you people contributing and subscribers are what helped me bring this content to everyone, really. They both contribute to the cost of production, and I am definitely grateful for that. This stuff is not cheap to put out. Oh my God. Oh my God. So every little bit helps, and I am filled with gratitude that you're stepping up. I am not necessarily a joiner, not usually, but there are environmental issues and other organizations that I do belong to and I contribute to because I like to see them persevere. And I'm hoping you feel the same about this work. I hope you put it into practice in your life. That's another way that you could spread this work and help change our world, which is what I think it ultimately does. As you know, I think if everyone tuned into their soul senses, the world would be a much better place. So when you subscribe, it's a big yes vote for the content, and it helps spread the work across the planet. So when you put the lessons into practice and subscribe and like and share, you help me help you carry the lesson beyond you and me. And I am just really grateful.
Legally speaking, this podcast is presented solely for educational, spiritual, and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or condition. Always check with your doctor.